Okay, so let's start with this one. My name is Katarzyna Wabik and I work at Revolut. This is the panel for women founders. I don't really have got my own startup, but Revolut is a fintech. So it combines the technology and finances, which is pretty male-dominated industry. So that's why I think that I can relate somehow to your experience. Okay, so first things first. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do, each of you? Because we are here to hear your success stories. And I think that you can perfectly speak for yourself. So please share these success stories of yours.
So hi, I will be the first. My name is Justyna Umantuk, and actually I run a marketing event company. I don't call myself a startup, but I do combine something unusual on the market because I combine a medical market with technology. I run a few projects which are related to startups, and therefore maybe I can give some perspective on how startups I work with deal with some issues regarding women. And one of the projects I'm really proud of, and you might know, is called MedMeetsTech, which is a platform connecting medical startups and business side, pharma and technology side of market.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bogumiła, and I am founder of Dr. Omnibus. I was a CEO at this company for 5 years. Since last year, I'm member of supervisory board. In Dr. Omnibus is a typical startup. In Dr. Omnibus, we create digital solution to support therapy and treatment of children with autism and intellectual disabilities. We have already 2 products. We are creating a third one, and we focus on Polish and American market. Yes, I think that this is the most important thing about us. Dr. Omnibus is also the first company in Google Launchpad Accelerator. So, regarding to your success stories, I think that this can be interesting also for you. Thank you.
My name is Agata Frankiewicz. I'm founder and CEO of DecoEco.com, and DecoEco is revolutionizing the way of thinking about waste. As we introduced the first B2B2C upcycling platform, which is connecting product developers which are making products out of waste with global companies, corporations, which are looking for a more innovative ways to manage their waste. I will tell a little bit more probably later.
Okay, I have got some water for you if you would like. Okay, so this is more in general. Like, what values are important in your life and how you are trying to incorporate them in your professional life?
Well, so I will be again probably the first to start, but we can change later. So from my point of view, I really like to set high standards for my work whenever I'm doing any other projects or working with clients. And this is something I rarely meet on the market because maybe I shouldn't say so, but most of companies, they are trying to do something, but not focusing that much on the quality. So in my work, that's one of the value I try to implement. Regarding other aspects, I'm really focused on trying to find a value for my clients. So this is something, the first question I always ask myself, what at the end of the day they would like to get from my services, what they would like to get, and what can I provide to them. And sometimes I'm putting too much pressure on myself in this area, but I guess it's also something very important in my work.
For me, really important is to create projects, businesses, NGOs as well, with significant social impact. especially at global scale, because I want to do something. I think that our life is short, and I want to do something which change a world a little bit. That's why I created Dr. Omnibus, and that's why I are going to start and run other projects and businesses which makes a difference.
My business actually is based on my inner values. Actually, DecoEco was. I started DecoEco based on the inner values. So this is. Why I started to do what I do is that I really believe in more sustainable ways of doing business. I would like to live in the world where a business is a force for good, not only a force for a profit. And I really care about like the being fair in the business, about the planet, about the environment. This is something which is inside me. So this is how I started the DecoEco to make more sustainable consumer products. So yeah, this is like we could say 100% combined with the values.
If I can add something to that, because like regarding your personal stories, with my business, with what I'm doing at the beginning of my career, I saw a very big niche on the market, because I'm a pharmacist by education, and being a pharmacist, being in the medical world, you see very large difference in the communication skills and maybe not the communication skills, but the world we are living in as a medical professionals, with those people who are more into tech, into new technologies. And I was doing my scientific project in United Kingdom, and I was working with 3D printers and trying to print drugs for people actually on them, using them. And when I came back to Poland, I realized that there is nothing like this similar on the market. And when I tried to connect with those scientists who are doing similar stuff to exchange knowledge or just inspire or get some new ideas for my work, I couldn't do it, because first there was no such thing as like scientists working on 3D printers at that time in Poland. And the second, when I tried to connect those two worlds, medicine and medical and technology world, I understand that they do not have the same language. They do not share the similar values, and they work in totally different environments. So I tried with what I'm doing today, bring those words together. And actually, this is what, like, I guess the biggest value I try to put in all my activities, to connect people and create a place when they can speak together and they can understand together each other.
I agree with Justyna, because I'm trying to do the same thing at Dr. Omnibus. And I think that this is important, because people, tech people, scientists, they want to talk and work together, but sometimes they don't know how. And amazing product can happen if we show them how to communicate, if we show them how to use their skills to make something good.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this this gender stuff. So here are some facts that in general, less women are on high positions in different industries. Less women are running startups. When I was preparing for this talk, for this panel, I was reading some surveys. So there is interesting data which was collected by Silicon Valley Bank. They published this year the report about women leadership. So basically half of startups have no woman on their leadership teams, and 1 in 4 startups has a woman on the founding team. And also less women are going to women founders from investors. So I am just like wondering, why is that, in your opinion? And I am just, thinking about this all, and I am just really curious, like from your perspective, are investors really investing in gender, or they investing in entrepreneurs? Are they looking in this factor or not really? Because since less women are running startups, less women are asking for money. This is like kind of obvious. So I am just wondering, how does it look like from your perspective?
If I can start, actually, this is the topic which is quite close to me, because last year the KOEKO got to the acceleration program in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and actually it was the first startup bootcamp, and this was the first batch of this program where half of the teams were female founders, and it was something unusual. But probably based on this, we got a lot of connections after this program during the last whole year. I got a lot of connections to some organizations which are trying to do something with this minority in women as female founders, because this is the fact. And I didn't know actually before that there is such a problem. I was female founder, and I know some female founders, so I didn't concentrate on this gap. I was concentrating on my business. But thanks to this program and thanks to the follow-ups that were after, I realized, and I got some information that's the fact that most of the European, this is not only the Polish problem, yeah, like most of the European funds from from investors, from VCs, venture capitals, goes to men funders, startups. So the gaps is huge, and there is a few organizations, for example, Women Challenge, the Women Challenge competition, or the Next Woman. These are organizations which are making competition for women. I was taking part in this. I was a finalist actually of both of these competitions in France and in Netherlands. And that's the fact that that most of the money goes goes not to the female founders startups. Probably there is a lot of reasons, but for sure, one of the things that I'm observing is that in the VCs, in VC funds, venture capitals, most of the analytics, most of the people who are scouting for the startups are men. And I can observe that the women-led startups, at least in my branch, because I'm from social impact investment and social impact startups, there is a lot of businesses who has, for example, social value as well, or impact value. And not they are a little bit more feminine businesses, yes, maybe, and maybe that's the problem, where in the VCs there are only men which are more concentrating on this like traditional way of doing business, like I mean the profit-based, not more like social impact startups. But also, for example, I had one, just finishing, I had one talk with an investor from Poland a few months ago, who said, literally, he said that, I don't think that you will be interested in this meeting with investors because they are all men and your business is like, feminine, like fashion and so. And it's like, what? It's like, I'm not doing fashion. We are doing marketplace in circular economy. This is a bit different than fashion, yes? Of course, we have as well products which are made from waste, which are fashion, but it's not about fashion. We are about circular economy and marketplace. So this is such kind of maybe stereotypes also that that businesses around that women are leading, yes? That you might have some stereotypes that this is more feminine business, and that men doesn't understand. So would be nice if like in VCs would be more analytics in forms of women, maybe. This could be like more understanding. I don't know. my initial thoughts.
Okay, thank you for this. How you can relate to this?
I think that it is not only about women case, in case of businesses, it's all about diversity, because VCs invest not only in male startups. They invest in startups run by white men from Europe and America, for example. Of course, it's generalization, but if we talk about
Data.
yes, this is data.
Actually, data.
Yes, so it's not only about us as women. It's only about people who think different, who are different than this case. In my case, it's. I have two VCs on the board in my company. One is run by men, but second one is run by only women. So the girls, these women are really focused on startups and which can be led by women as well. So for me, it wasn't a problem to get money. It wasn't a problem to find some financial then. Right now, it's more difficult because we want to transit our company to United States, and I believe that the challenge is not that I'm a woman, or for example, one of my co-founders was a woman, but that we are from Poland, so we have to go there. So this is the problem. But I think that this is also a little bit problem us as a woman, because we are raised up to be nice, kind person, to be teachers, to be nurseries, to be mothers, and people don't expect from us that we can be competitive, that we want to something more, that we want to fight for our business. People think that okay, she started a business, but after then she started a family, and that's it. Thank you very much. It's your business. Your business is over, and I think that this is a huge issue, especially in countries like Poland, when family means that women go to the maternity leave. She will generate some cost for companies, so it's could be hard for VCs, could be hard for business partner to work with people who may take a break, for example, or think about or women can think about ourselves that, I don't know, we should be nice, we should be liked by everyone. This is something which could be hard for male businessmen.
Okay, thank you, Bogumiła. In the next question, we will be thinking about this, how we can change the situation. So it will really relate to this, what you have just said. Justyna?
Well, I can totally relate to what you said, that as a woman we are perceived as someone who has slightly a different role in family, because we need to take care of the family, of the child, and so on. And this is sometimes a problem. And even today we had a discussion like 15 minutes ago that we both left our child in a home, and we are a little bit stressed. And actually, maybe I'm a little bit stressed. And this is an impact of having a family and being a woman in a business. But also, I wouldn't like it to be something that determines if I can do a good business or not, because as we are here, we are doing it. So we are not finding excuses and just being a family member. We are also a businesswoman being here. So this is something that is deeply in our minds, and I guess it will be very hard for us as women to get rid of it, because our business partners might not see it as a problem, but I guess deeply inside we see it a bigger problem than it might seem outside. And even like last month or 2 months ago, I had a conversation with one of my clients, and he asked me how I'm going to do what I'm doing now that I have a small child in home. So it was a question that I guess HR departments of many companies would seem inappropriate, but actually it happens and it's natural that people ask about it. So I guess we need to answer those questions and don't get offended by them because they will be on the market. But we need to just show that we are doing a good job and that we are worth the same as male startuppers.
But do you think that there should be such questions? Because to be honest, I don't think it's right that because men are also fathers, and why you see we shouldn't like be offended by such questions. I have a bit different idea on that, because why you cannot ask father? How can you cope if you have 4 children?
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's,
totally agree that it shouldn't be asked, but in this world, which is not perfect, it will be asked. So I guess we just need to do what we are doing and just prove that we can do as much and even more than men.
I just thought one thing about this what should or shouldn't be asked, for example, because when I was pregnant with my first son, just before birth, we tried to figure out with my husband how we can share, take care about responsibilities in case of of our family, and we decided to share this parental leave. I decided to take first months and take care about my son, and my husband, who is also a CEO at a software company, he decided to take a few months later. And my business partner, not only he, but also few other people asked me why, how we can do that, because Błażej is a CEO of company. He can't take a break. And I asked, I am a CEO of company, and okay, but you are a woman, you are a mother, you should take a break because you have to raise your son. And Błażej put a note. So this is a hard situation when you have to organize all of these things, but also you can answer other people that you are for this kind of question, and you can show them that this is possible to run a business, this is possible to be a family member, mother and father, and mother and father can be as good as a parent, father can be as good as a partner as a mother, for example.
Yeah, you know, I understand what you are saying. As Agata, I have like some thoughts that, maybe not thoughts, a feeling that maybe it's not that fair that we have to, you know, improve something because men don't have to. But I know that there are a lot of women who are very happy to go on the leave as, you know, as early as possible in the pregnancy and so on, and that's their right too. But I know that employees are not happy about it because they have to run their businesses, so this is an obvious conflict of interests. It's not easy. It's not easy. So what are your ideas about changing the status quo? As we said, less funds are going to women, there are less women in leadership roles, and so on, so on. So what can we do as women to change it?
I think that what is happening around Europe is a good way. I mentioned the European Women Challenge competition, the Next Woman. These are all the networks in which women are supporting women. For example, these are competition only for women startups, and prizes are only for the women startups to give more chances to talk with the valuable investors, not in front of the male startups or male founders, to make sure that you're not judged by the gender, but you're just judged by your business idea. So I think that such organizations, such competitions would be very much appreciated all over Europe, not only in Poland, but also there is in Poland also the Black Swan Fund or the Next Woman in Europe. These are all investment organization with investors, women investors. So I think that this is helping. This is really helping. For example, after the European Women Challenge competition, when I was a finalist, DecoEco was mentioned by Forbes, Global Forbes, as one of the 60 women-led startups who are shaking the industry world, and this is very good because you're obtaining some publicity around that, and so like more and more events like that, and like woman organization where you're competing without like the gender yeah, feature.
Well, I have it's very hard for me to decide if I'm totally for those kind of competition only for women, because on the other one hand, they will help you to get your idea be seen in the world, and this is the advantage for sure. But on the other hand, if we exclude women as a, like, we create a special contest only for them, I guess that somehow we treat ourselves as, I don't know, maybe handicapped. It shouldn't be a word, but sometimes people.
It's not about that. This is just about the fact that you don't have the gender, this gender. How to call it? You don't need to compete with
men in one
with
competition.
and it's not like that you are not good enough. This is just the organizations which are promoting diminishing the gap between investing in women-led startups and men-led startups. This is the reason and the goal of such competitions and organization, to diminish, to lower the gap, because the gap is true. As right now around 10% or 12% all the investment funds funds goes to male startups, and this is the fact. This is based on the numbers. So the idea is to lower this gap. So that's why there is like more and more competitions in which the female-led startups are being found and taken out from the crowd. Yes, to come to the equality. Yes, because there is really a huge inequality among startups also. Yes.
Yeah, I see that it's not only black and white, but I'm just wondering, because what I've heard and what I also, sometimes people are not saying it to my face, but I know that it's like common gossip that, okay, if you want something which is only for women, it's easier because you wouldn't do the same in the like normal competition. And I would like, in the perfect world, to not be like this, but this is the
it's
fact.
not like that. You have normal competition, and there are normal investors who are investing in both. Yes, so they will either invest in you, either not. Of course, you need to have a business plan. You need to have the KPIs.
Yeah,
you need to
I
have
know
everything.
all of that,
so
but
it doesn't need the taking part in competition doesn't mean that the investor will invest in you. This is just an opportunity for you to show your startup. Yes.
It is opportunity, but I have to agree with Justyna that sometimes it is an issue, because I heard also many times that organization or events dedicated to women entrepreneurs can be treated by other society as something which should help us to be better entrepreneurs, which means that we are worse.
This is like in Poland, or because in Europe it's not like that. Like in Netherlands, for example, this is like very, very common. Yes, because people know that there is a gap, and this is normal. This is women competition. This is European Women Challenge. These are very proven marks and brands all over the world. So they are very, very proven and powerful organizations, and they are like have the the stick and the mark.
Yes, I know that, and I think that this kind of projects, this kind of organization are really helpful, and of course we have to compete with other business women who are lead great businesses. So it's not easier than other competitions, but it could be treated as an easier competition in case of the whole market. So I believe that we should fight should fight not for women in startups, in tech, in business, but for different kind of people. We should fight for diversity. So, for example, start to organize maybe some events, some presentation, some organizations which focus on different kind of businessmen, businesswomen, not only women and men. So for people from different kind of countries, for business led by gays, by other nations, something like that.
I'm really happy that we have got different views on this one. Like really, because this is like a discussion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's really hard, and this is always a question because there is a gap or there is a problem. So it's always a question how how to resolve it, how to help in a smart way. So yeah, I am not expecting that we will find answers today, but it's good to talk about this and exchange the views on this. Staying in this gender subject, so have you ever faced some problems as a woman founder, like which are really, related to the fact that you are a woman? And have you ever faced sexism?
Well, the question that I was asked which I mentioned, was kind of this kind of situation. So I guess I faced it, but usually when I work not with startups, but in general with businesses that they are big, and it's normal for people to work with women and men. When you do a good job, you are not judged by the gender. That's the general point of view I have, and I would like to stick to it. And I guess even there are some reports that in Poland, the pay gap between women and men is one of the smallest in Europe, which is good. And I guess that in our society, still we have a lot of women on the position that they are high, maybe not the top position, but on the second high. So which is good. And well, I experienced some, but I guess as a man you will experience some as well. And I would like, in a perfect world, not to be it part of the reason why someone might work with me or not, but it happens.
The question which I mentioned before is also this kind of sexism situation. I think that I'm very lucky in case of these challenges, because I met a lot of people, men and women, and they helped me a lot to grow, to learn how to be better entrepreneur. And it's hard for me, for example, to say who help me more, men or women. So I also believe that sometimes men also experience this kind challenge, this kind of issues, that they are treated worse because of many reasons. So I want to also focus on this bright side of the business. And to be honest, I didn't experience a lot of situation which could I relate with my sex.
Directly, I never had such a very direct situations like that. Maybe like that one that I mentioned before. Yes, that that your business is perceived as like a business for women, not for male investors. So this was something maybe we could say like that. But that's the fact that it's when you are only a sole woman which is going to meetings with investors, VCs mostly. Sometimes I have the impression that like women founder plus social impact startup plus some things connected with the marketplace and shopping might be a bit stereotyping. So for me, it takes more time to convince that we act with a technology, because we have a technology-driven marketplace with machine learning solutions, and we are based in circular economy market. So this is something which I need to explain maybe a bit more. But I never had such situations, like direct situation. The opposite. I was more like boosting for this all women competition, women organization. So this gave me, like being a female founder, gave me much more exposure lately. But that's because I was like in Netherlands. I was at Startup Bootcamp. I was at European Women Challenge competition. This gave the more exposure. Yes, so I was maybe lucky to be at the right place. Netherlands is very, very Netherlands is very famous from being equal, and this is the equality is from both sides. Women, for example, feel offended where the guy is paying for the dinner. Yes, so this is like. This is normal discussions like that. Women are not feeling offended that they are going for a woman-led competition because this is normal, because they know that there is a gap and they know that we need more support, yes? So it's like completely different level of mentality about gender equality in Netherlands versus Poland. So maybe I'm at the right place for that. But I had a lot of stories, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, so last question, and then we will ask our audience about the questions for you. So what kind of advices could you give to some women who are considering stepping into the business?
Well, I guess it will be just short, just do it. And do it wisely. And I guess that we shouldn't, as a woman, focus on being woman. We should focus on doing good job. And if we will show the results, the market will accept us no matter what. So that's my advice.
Believe in yourself. I think that this is the most important thing. And try to take control over your business, because right or wrong, you are still the captain. And sometimes it's better to fail, but fail because of your decisions, than let to take control to others, for example, investors or other business partners.
I agree with the Justyna, yes, Justyna. Do your job, yes, simply do your business, and doesn't matter if you are a woman or man, just do your job. But also one advice to women, because I know that women need to fulfill more roles sometimes than men, because the expectations still are a bit bigger about the role of mother, the role of wife, the role of these roles, yes. So don't try to be perfect, and don't try to make everything perfect, because it's just impossible. Either you do business, either your house is clean, and just this is just a simple choice. And don't worry, if you do business, you will hire a cleaner, so somebody to help you with the house. So you cannot like do everything, and you cannot be perfect mother, you cannot be a perfect businesswoman, because it's just too much. So we just need to stop thinking about being a perfectionist in every role, because it just won't happen. You can concentrate on business now, and in a few years on your garden, and that's fine. Yes.
Okay. Nicely said.
And do you have any female role models? It doesn't have to be a businesswoman. It can be a writer or whatever. I can start. Like lately, I am like really impressed by Ania Rubik. She's a model, as you probably all know. It is totally different industry, and I believe it can be very, very unpleasant and harsh, especially for a woman. So yeah, I am really impressed by her, because she's a businesswoman as well. She's being involved also in some social projects, like sexual education in Poland and so on, so on. So yeah, I think that she seems to be a very, very great woman, who is doing a lot of stuff to change like some status quo.
So maybe I add something. It's hard for me to choose one person, one role model. But lately, I'm also impressed by Melinda Gates and how she managed this social impact stuff, how she tried to understand people, their problems, how she talked with people, and faced this understanding, this knowledge with technicians, with technical guys, with scientists, with data. So this is something which is really great for me to learn how to combine all of this stuff and do what you want to do.
So maybe it's more example not from the business world but from the scientific world, because probably all of you know that Maria Skłodowska-Curie got a Nobel Prize, and probably like let's say 1/3 of you know that grandson of Maria Skłodowska-Curie also got a Nobel Prize, which is also a fact. But there is also a daughter of Maria Skłodowska-Curie who got a Nobel Prize, and she was such a badass. So I recommend you to learn more about her, because she was a really great lady. And recently we were talking about Nobel Prizes. That's why I was so amazed by this discovery that I never heard of before.
I maybe cannot picture right now like one role model as a woman. Maybe a bit my mom, but maybe a bit, yes, because you know how is it like with strong women, with strong mothers. But on general, I really admire women which are a bit rebels, yes, which are like which are going out of the box, yes, with the stereotypes, with the models of family, with the models of doing business, doing things, because there's a lot of stereotypes, and my role models could be like women which are rebels, which like you are like trying to do a bit more than the stereotype role, especially in Poland. It's quite still strong, some stereotypes. And just last one sentence. I have there are really nice books in Polish. I don't know if they're in English, about women, like women in history. This is called in Polish Historie buntowniczek, women rebels. And I'm reading these books to my daughters. I have two daughters, and they really love the stories about Marii Curie-Skłodowska, about some sports women in sports. There's politicians, artists, and so on. There are really short stories in which they show the history of women which did something, for example, against the times she was living. She was managed to beat this, and this. And these are very inspiring for myself, but also for my daughters. So there is definitely a lot of such women, and I should need to maybe read a bit more a biography of them to find some as a role model from now on. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so do we have any questions from the audience?
Hi guys and girls, I'm Lisa, I'm from Brazil. I used to work with social impact there. So when you talked about it, I really felt that spark. And I think that a lot of women are more interested on social impact, and maybe if we have more value on social impact, we are also going to foster women, women-based business. So I would like to ask you if you agree with this supposition, and how could we value more social impact on business?
Yeah, actually, I can start to answer as I'm observing that there is more women in social impact businesses. That's the fact. I think that's the we are have a maybe bit different values. I don't know, maybe based on these years of stereotypes, but that's the fact. Actually, most of our employees in the company are women, and it's not like we don't want to hire men, but the women are just coming, most of the women are coming to recruitment processes, yes, with the circular economy, waste, fashion, marketplace. So, and that's the fact that a lot of women-led businesses has also put a focus and importance on the environmental issues, on the social exclusivity, like social inclusion, and so on. But more and more focus is put on this as well around impact investors. Maybe not in Poland. In Poland, impact investment doesn't almost doesn't exist yet, but it's starting. However, all over the world, there is more and more impact investors who not only invest looking on the numbers, but for them, the impact KPIs are as important as business. And I remember I was talking to some impact investors, VCs, a few months ago, as we are currently fundraising our seed round to scale up. And there are some VCs, impact VCs in Scandinavia, in Netherlands, in Germany, that we don't meet yet the enough impact KPIs. We meet sales KPIs, but our impact KPIs, even if we're 100% upcycling company, are still not there. So they value even sometimes more and the impact KPIs are also very strict and based on the figures and numbers. So the good thing is when you're running the social impact enterprise, the impact enterprise, impact business, you need to have also the impact KPIs based on figures and numbers, not only the good business story, which is also important, but also these KPIs.
I also agree, and I think I have some thoughts about that, because I think that this is maybe a way to gap a little bit to fill the gap a little bit between women and men in business, because maybe we should create more opportunities like hackathons or conference dedicated to social impact businesses and invite women, because women want to do this kind of projects, and of course this is. Yeah, yes, but this is something.
Again, the numbers.
Yes, and the other thing is that we should. I think that we should also care about not only this impact which we produce, which we create as a company outside of the company. For example, in my company, it's health and educational solutions, but we also should care about impact in our company. So, for example, create a culture which help women to grow, which help women to manage family and business life, not only women, which help employees to manage family and business life to keep this work-life balance. And this is also which is pretty important, and I believe that this is also an impact company if you think about this kind of stuff.
I guess I have nothing more to add.
Okay, we have got time for one more question. Maybe from a man. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so my dimension of diversity is I'm an immigrant founder from the United States here in Poland. And I definitely have seen statistics where VC deals are fewer going to women. So obviously one way to improve that is to have more women founders represented in the population. So when you see male-dominated industries like government or financial institutions in Europe being visible women leaders, how would you bring it local? Is there either ways that we can encourage more women to be founders here in Krakow or organizations that promote that?
Well, I guess that there are a lot of programs available on the market for the people who are just on the beginning of the road. So some kind of extra skills, mentoring programs, and this is something that will give the woman, well, maybe a feeling that she will handle it and she will do it, because I guess that in many cases that's something that's what's inside is a barrier, that they are not feeling brave enough. So this local system of help, this local activities that gives you more skills or more contacts, this is something that I guess is helping, that's for sure. But what else? It's very hard. I would like it to be more broad, and I don't have many brilliant ideas how to do in one way. But I guess it's like the mental change that it has to happen.
I agree, and I think that there is a problem in some stage of the business, because there is a few maybe even many organizations dedicated to women who want to start a business. So, for example, in Krakow, there is not only in Krakow, is a Girls Carrots or something like this. So this kind of organization help you to start, help you to believe in yourself. And after that, there's some big organization which helps you to run a big, great companies, like, for example, organization behind Black Swan, for example. But there's, maybe I don't know, but I think that there is a gap between these two stages. So if I start a business and I know that I'm brave enough, I'm capable enough to do something, I don't get any help, maybe not any, but I get a little bit help from others when I'm in this most difficult stage, when my business is growing, when I want to fight for something more. Because if I achieve something more, okay, I found someone to mentor me, to talk with me, but this I think that maybe address this gap, this stage, it could be helpful to help women be manager, be entrepreneur, be in business.
What I can add, maybe some mentoring chain, yes, like the mentors. Mentoring is, I think, very important for women. Like as I said at the beginning, we are like struggling not only with the business, but also in. This might be the most difficult thing, like in combining all of the women roles, yes. So and combining and meeting the expectations, because. Probably like female founders are very ambitious women, yes, normally, and if you're ambitious, you're ambitious on every field, not only in business. You're ambitious also being a mother. You want to be a great wife, you want to be a great friend and daughter, and the expectations are high, yes. So I think that this is where some women doesn't believe they will do it, or they're trying to be perfect in each of the roles. And the mentoring, I think that the mentoring chain would be a good start of like starting something, because to be honest, I never heard about in Krakow about like women competitions or something. So I don't know, maybe there are some, but I never was looking for. But yeah, the mentoring chain would be a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially when you can do it at a very, micro scale and in a very early stage. For example, you can mentor like some, girls, teenagers or some stuff. Okay, that's a wrap. So thank you for hearing to us and thank you for joining the panel. Agata Frankiewicz, Bogumiła Matuszewska-Wojtyła, Justyna Uman-Tuk. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.